Welcome, creators, to The Disruptors, Illuminate Your Frequency podcast. It's in the disruption of the luminescence that matter is created. Earlier this week, we were talking in the car. I was talking with my children, and I was trying to explain the power and the magic that we have around us that we may not even see. And one of them was saying about how they don't believe in magic. And
Perspective.
Well, do you believe in the trees? Yes. Well, where do trees come from? Seeds. Where do the seeds come from? God. Well, how did God get the seeds? Magic. So do you believe in God? Yes. So then you believe in magic. And it was such a simple way to reframe an idea, or it was such a simple way to reframe the idea or thought. Because the thing is, if we don't have access to other people giving us other perspectives or other ideas or thoughts on things, we can't look at things in other ways. So today we're going to talk about perspectives, because to me, seeing the way that we look at things is how we're going to hold that idea for us, how we are going to believe or understand that topic or that idea or that story or whatever it is, on a way that works for us, on a way that we can only access the information or the idea or the thoughts based on what we have. And I also want to share how having different levels of perspective to open your mind up to ideas, mixed with having different perspectives on the way that we actually exist. Because I have a interesting way that I view our existence, and lately I've really been able to give it more of a meaning and an idea and an understanding. But I want to share that as well in order to give you a different perspective of the way that we can view things and the life and the things that we're doing around us. We are led to believe, or somewhere within us, there is an idea that we need to think in a certain way, that we need to have a finality or a solidity to an idea, an answer, a story, a subject, so that we can contain it within that knowledge. It's like thinking about a relationship and how it's two people getting married, having kids, and living this amazing life. That is a flow that has a momentum of completion. So like when two people start dating, they're going to get married, and it was that old kind of thought pattern that was the flow and that was the way that it went. We have that sort of idea floating around in our existence for so many other things that we don't even realize that we hold on to them until we start looking at them. So for me, when I started to open my mind to new ideas and new ways of thinking, I tried to find an end or a process to those things I was learning. I was trying to find my full stop. I was trying to find, well, what does this mean? How do I put this together? How can I use my logic to understand this? Because here's a topic or an idea. Show me what that means and how that works. So when you have that thought or idea in the back of your mind, and you're trying to, not purposely, but because it's built into you, apply it to everything that you're doing and you're learning, you get out of sorts when you can't find an answer. Originally, you could find particular topics and ideas and say, okay, so here's all the information, here's my full stop, here's the brackets, this is what surrounds it, this is what this idea is. But the more you learn and the more deep you dive into things, the more you find, hang on a minute. There are some few there are a few different possibilities. There's more than one answer. And you get into this confusion state of, well, what's the answer? So you go on this quest to try and find more knowledge, only to find yourself in a place of searching for more information, of trying to find more answers, and you never actually get there. Now I'm in a state where I've accepted that there is no answer to any of those questions. There's just more questions. But the way that I view it is part of the perspective that I hold. And everyone's going to have different perspectives and different ways of looking things. And we're going to have the different perspectives, even across different topics and ideas and emotions. It's not just one way to look at things across this one plane of existence. But for me, it's like, the first place that we would start is on this 3D level. So this is where I would see myself as this physical being with this body that is operating in a certain way. I'm living this life with other people, doing things, existing in a society. This is one way I can perceive any topic, any idea, any thought. I can see it from the perspective of me being here right now. Then I can also perceive it as an energetic being, as seeing myself not just as this physical being, but this vibrational frequency of existence that is made up of these energetic particles existing in this place that is also made up of different vibrations and different frequencies and different pieces of energetic codes and ideas that I can connect to. So I can look at things from an energetic standpoint and say, well, how this connects with this, and how this grows into this, or this repels this, or this is attached to this type thing. So I can look at it from that vision as well. But then there's another whole level of, outside of all of that, is then taking away all of that and then just seeing it all as an illusionary existence that has been created for whatever reason, because I don't have the answer, of multiple possibilities and endless ways that we could actually exist, and then try and apply that thought of, well, at the end of the day, we're just not even real anyway. We're just existing in this place as is because of whatever reason. None of it matters. Nothing, it's already happened, and we live in this weird time space reality that it can be hard then to try and do the things that we're doing back on an energetic or this 3D human level. So for me, I find myself flipping through those three different pieces and ideas of existence in a way to try and create something that whatever is experienced this in the moment is going to enjoy. Because if you were just existing on one of those three different places, it would be an easier space possibly to try and facilitate the life around you with the perspective that you have. But I feel like that having these different layers and these different ideas of being in different places, of being of energetic 3D and beyond that, gives you an openness to ideas and thoughts and possibilities and the ways to do things. But at the same time, because there's still that part of this 3D and part of that logical mind that wants that full stop of that end of that conversation, it can be hard when you're looking at it from, well, do we exist? Are we just a figment of our imagination? Are we just created by whatever else ideas are out there? But we don't know about these other perspectives unless we hear about them. So by me sharing these ideas and sharing the possibility of these perspectives is what opens your mind to the idea and to the thoughts of that actually existing. Doesn't mean you need to agree with it. You can very easily just fully reject it in the moment, but having an outlet for me to be able to express that to others is something that I feel I need to do. And I don't know which one of those levels needs to do it, but it's something that feels like it is the right thing for me. If I pull all those pieces together of me as the 3D, as the energetic, as the illusionary existence, trying to allow all of them flow through in a way is something that I find I can only do in the moment. I can be in this 3D human and I can do these things that are deemed part of this reality that we have, that we are seeing and observing and living in right now. Because it's like we need to move through those different layers depending on the different things we're doing, the different types of things we're doing, the things that we want to achieve and the things we want to experience. If I want to sit here and believe that I'm connecting to this universal existence, my 3D being is not going to be able to do that. I need to pop into that energetic field, that level of awareness and understanding where I can see how we're made of these vibrational frequencies and how I can connect to the different codes and connect to the information that's coming through and bring all these things into me. But if I want to step outside of that and I want to see the bigger picture where this is my reality and I am creating this space around me based on my thoughts, then I'm going to use that as a tool to allow those energetic frequencies to create the existence that I believe can work for me instead of the way that I think they should operate or the way that other people are telling me that they operate. And I feel like as I'm speaking this, I'm not really getting the point across because it is a lot of internalness. It's a lot more of feeling than thinking and putting into words. Because the words are literally that part of this 3D human that we're trying to express something that is a feeling. And if we only have a certain amount of words, how are we going to be able to really describe these different vibrational frequencies and the fluctuation and the ways we move and connect towards them without having the right words to experience that? The way that we can express to each other, I think once we get to a certain level, could be through this energetic vibrational existence, and we can feel how other people are thinking. And I know we can do that already. We can, if you believe this, because see, this is where those layers come in, where we believe that we can tap into the energies of other people, where we can feel what they're thinking, we can feel how they're going to respond to something, or maybe we're a healer and we're trying to tap into the things that they want your assistance with. When you think about it on that other level of you creating that, and that existence of those people and those ideas are actually part of you and the things that you have created, it sort of takes away then from the purpose and the way that mythology or idea could work. Because once we no longer hold that as a truth for us, or something that is part of our reality, something that we're holding on to as true for us, it's not going to exist in our 3D world. So we travel up and down through these layers in order to either bring these things more into our existence or release them from our awareness. And when they get released from our awareness, they're no longer brought into the 3D being. And I don't have all the answers. Obviously, I am working through it every day, and it's a new awareness every moment. It's a new idea every moment. It's something different, just based on different thoughts. And I can say one thing right now, but I can say it from this version of who I am, but then I'll say something else, but that's because I'm in another place of who I am. And it can be kind of contradicting. But I think this is a place where we can exist in a way where we do get to move through those different levels of our awareness. And whether it's a journey towards being into one big awareness and being just on one level, I don't know, but I'm definitely not there yet. But for me right now, I can still feel those three levels. So my perspective on things is on those three levels. You will talk to many people and you will see when they have a certain perspective from one side or one experience. You know, when you talk about something and someone will say, oh my God, that was so bad, and someone will say, oh my God, that was so good. It's because of that experience. It's because of that belief. It's because of whatever they are already holding on to. But when you can see those things from no longer just your experience or just your beliefs, but on an energetic and then an illusionary level, it's like, okay, well, what's my opinion on this? How do I bring that into my awareness, into my existence? How do I experience it? Because this is the way that I think, I don't know, this is my awareness right now. It can change at any time. If we fully transcended to no longer existing in this 3D version of ourselves, then I don't think we would exist. Because if you think about it, like the purpose of us being here is, well, there's many different answers and you can have your own answers, but there are no answers. So who knows? Any of it could be right. All of it could be wrong. If we're here to experience things and move through things and make connections and create lives we want and bring things into our lives, if we get to use those other layers of knowing and understanding, they are then also just tools for this version of ourselves to experience. Because ultimately, this is the part that's going to experience it. It's still this version of ourselves that is experiencing things on that energetic level or on that illusionary level. So if we can utilize the awareness and the space that we can get into when we're in those minds and bring it back through us, we're going to be able to experience in ways that logically aren't going to make sense to us because they're not going to have that full stop. They're not going to have that pattern. They're not going to have that completed end goal. And for us, it can be like, well, why? What? How? Because most of the way that we're existing is because of something. That's a super ambiguous sentence. What I mean is, if we're here right now and we have children, we're existing because we need to look after our children. We need to cook food. We need to maintain a house. We need a job. We need to bring in money. Even if we don't have that, we're existing because we want money. Maybe we want a house. Maybe we want a relationship. Whatever it is, we're existing because of something. If we didn't, well, then we wouldn't. So if we have that drive towards something, that's what's keeping our existence into place. But if we still have that drive of those things that we want, but we let go of those things in a way where that's not our completion and it's not our reason to drive us, then what are we going to create? That's that's the area I'm tapping into right now, is instead of existing because, you know, I want to earn money and I want a successful business and I have to support the kids and I have to live in this place and I have to do these things, even though this is part of my reality that I've created, where yes, we need to maintain some sort of livability in this existence that we have created. But having that as not the only reason or the only drive towards the things that we're doing. I really feel like I'm talking in circles, and I hope I'm really expressing it the way I want. Even as the words come out of my mouth, it's like, you're not saying it how you feel it. And this is the hardest part sometimes. Sometimes the words can flow and you feel like you were portraying that message in the most perfect way possible, but then someone else will listen or someone else will read your words and they take it totally differently, like that wasn't the point. Because this is the whole reason why I'm talking about perspectives, because when we do that, when we are expressing ourselves in certain ways with voice or with words on paper or written, people will respond or receive it in different ways based on their perspective. So we can write a piece of writing, a piece of content. We can speak a video and feel like we are portraying a certain message, but people will be receiving it totally differently. Like, I know most people aren't thinking or feeling or talking about these 3 levels of awareness or existence that I do. So if I'm speaking to those 3 layers when I am saying something and people aren't existing or having that perspective, they're not even going to hear the things that I'm saying. They're just going to take it from a certain level. And there's nothing wrong with any of that, because I still believe, because of all these different layers, that you're still going to receive what you need on whatever level you're at. And, you know, that goes back to even when you first start hearing about things and you listen and you hear it on a certain level, but when you listen and hear it again, you hear it on a different level, and it just hits differently because you have a different perspective. You have a different idea or different codes in the way that you hear it or you feel it or you see it. There is definitely power in the power of perspective. It's having an open awareness. It's like, you know, when you're looking at something online and they have a 360 view, it's like, ooh, yes, please. Because why? Why is a 360 view better than just a photo? Because you get to see all sides of it. You get to see above, you get to see below, you get to see around, sometimes inside. Isn't that a way better place that you can exist from when you have that 360-degree view instead of just that view of just the photo? That's how I like to think. That's what I'm exploring right now. So honestly, without it, what do you have? Where are your perspectives? Where's your view coming from? And could you be more open to other perspectives? And that's it for another epic dose of Disruptors Illuminate Your Frequency podcast.